I'm Tanuja and I run a company called INCENTIWISE. INCENTIWISE is in the business of tourism. We organize experiential incentive programs for corporates. How did I get into this business? Well, to tell you the truth, since childhood I was very attracted with foreign locales. You know, growing up in the 80s as a kid, we had just got a television, a black and white TV, and we used to watch cricket matches on it. So whenever I used to see things like a cricket match being played in England at the Lord's Stadium, or used to see these Miss Universe or Miss World programs, and used to hear about countries like Venezuela or Spain, I always used to feel that, where are these places? I want to go there. So I always dreamt of going to these exotic places. But my parents were government servants and a foreign holiday was unheard of at those times. So the nearest resemblance to a holiday that we used to take was to a Mumbai or a Nasik to visit friends and relatives. So that was my travel when I was growing up. So I thought that what should I do that would probably take me to these places. I thought of being a cricketer, but I dropped that idea. There was no way I could have become a Miss World or a Miss Universe, so that was out. The other option was to learn languages. So I started learning foreign languages, thinking that at least, when I learn languages, I'll be able to visit that country. And that's how my journey began. My first ever big trip was to Delhi in JNU, where I came to study German. I did my master's in German interpretation and I got into the travel trade just by luck, and that's where I stayed, and that's why I'm here today. So I started my career in the travel industry actually in 1994. I worked with the best of the brands. I worked with P&O Cruises, Star Cruises, Cox & Kings, Thomas Cook, but Sahara Group. But I really could not make a dent in this place or in this trade in a positive way. The reason being that, I got married in 1997, and as luck would have it, my husband kept on moving from one place to the other because of his job. So as Indian wives are supposed to do, I had to follow him wherever his job took us. So technically, his career took precedence over mine, and I just kept on getting a new job, but in a better company. And that's how I spent around 8 years in the travel industry, shifting from company to company. But then I realized that, I wanted to do something big. I wanted to create a name for myself. And I realized that, if I kept moving like this, I could never have a career of my own. So finally in 2008, along with my daughter, we moved back to Gurgaon because I got an offer from a very good company, which I decided to take up as a good career move. So in 2008, I got this very great opportunity to kind of come and work in Delhi and head a company. It was a very nice position. So I took it up. The only hitch being that I was alone with my daughter. So, it was a tough call, though I had called my parents to help me and all that. Still managing a 7-year-old daughter alone in Delhi and commuting up and down from Gurgaon took its toll. So in 1.5 years, I had to quit. People told me that, are you mad? Who quits at this point? It's a recession time. It was 2010 and 2009 actually, 2009 and 10 recession time, and you've got such a great position and good salary, a good boss, you're learning. Who quits? I said, I do, because at one point of time, if I was coming home at 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and leaving house at 8, I hardly got to spend any time with my daughter. So I said, I quit in a way. So I resigned. And I said that, I've had so much of experience, I should start on my own. So I set up my own company, my first attempt at entrepreneurship. It was called Pro Tourism. I set it up with 2 friends of mine, and it failed miserably. Miserably as in really miserably, because we couldn't take it off. It was recession time, there was so much of competition. and I again started searching for a job. So I found a good opportunity with a company called Network 18. So I used to have these guilt trips, you know, I would call them my guilt trips whenever I was away on a conference for anything between 2 to 8 days. I used to feel that, okay, fine. One part of me was seeing the world. That is what I always wanted to do. I wanted to follow that dream. The other part of mine as a mom, I used to be like, you know, I need to see this with my family, with my daughter, and you know, so that used to always be there at the back of the mind. So, for example, in Singapore, I must have done at least 5 to 6 events, but I've never actually gone out and seen a Jurong Bird Park or a night safari, because I used to always want to do these things with my daughter. So those are the small things that I that I feel that, you know, as a mom, I think every mom goes through this. Having said that, yes, I'm in with INCENTIWISE and Mice Online now. I'm my own boss, so I can now take my daughter out whenever I want to. I don't have to take permissions from any boss or whatever. So I think we are good now. I'm like, she's also a grown-up kid and she's 16, so time flew, and now I'm free and I have even more power to pursue my dream, because I have time on my hands. My daughter is grown up. I have all the wealth of experience. There's no way that I know that I'm going to let my business